Hello! So today I want to show you how to mount your stamp onto wood. Let's see. We'll need a stamp that we want mounted for various reasons, and I'll explain that later. And a wooden block or some other kind of block. You could also use thick cardboard. An ink pad, I would recommend something waterproof because you will probably wash your stamp afterwards. And a glue that is compatible with your chosen material. I use PVA glue because both the stamps foam and the wood are porous materials. So, why would you want to mount your stamp onto wood? First of all, if you're using it often, you might want to have it handy already on a wooden block. It's easier to hold for people with bigger hands or with arthritis as well. Another reason why you might want to mount your stamp is when your stamp doesn't work well as it is. My stamp here is a rubber stamp that has a foam core, and on the back side there is a silicone tacky mat that makes it adhere to plastic or plexiglass or stamping block. But the problem is that this stamp is so curved that it does not want to adhere well. And it's a shame because the stamp is very nice, and these kind of big stamps are usually not that cheap. So it's always best to find a way to use it. But like this I cannot use it because by the time I get to stamping it would slide and my image would be blurry and dirty on the edges. So, and I cannot use it with my curved roller at all because it's a big stamp that would be really beneficial if I could do just this. But I cannot use it because it's curved in the other direction. So what I'll do is first remove the silicone on the back side. You see, you just peel it off, and it's not difficult at all. This part is very easy. If you have this kind of already a self-clinging stamp. If you purchased a rubber stamp, you don't need to do this, and this step is optional just for this. You can save this as you will be able to use it somewhere else where you want things to stick to another or to adhere it, or you can use it in drawers so that your drawer caddies don't slide away. So don't throw that away. But here there's another part of this stamp. As you can see, this shiny thing where the image is also printed on is made from some kind of acetate or some kind of plastic, and it's glued to the foam core. And we want to remove this as well because this will not adhere well to our wood. And to do that, whenever you have something like that, a useful tool is always a heat gun. And if you don't have a heat gun, a hairdryer would work as well. So I will heat it and I'll fast forward this part. When you're heating this, take care that you do not heat for too long at one specific point. You have to move. And as you can see, when the glue releases, you can see these little air bubbles inside, and then it's easier to peel off. But then continue to heat another part. Don't just try to peel off because you will take some foam with you. You can also use this technique to remove tape and stickers. And if you want to be stuck with me, subscribe. There's a lot more to come. If you find this video helpful or fun, give it a like. It really means a lot to me. Thank you. You can see that this part is getting loose, and we can pull it off carefully so we do not take any of the foam with us. Continue to heat and peel off until the end. And of course, watch how you're heating so you don't burn yourself. Once you've peeled this off, you have a rubber stamp that is mounted onto a foam, but it still wants to curve. So, because the rubber is stronger than the foam, so it will always want to curve if we do not give it the support it needs. That's why I want to mount it onto a wood block, like this. Before we do that, however, it's a good idea to stamp the image onto the other side so that we will know which stamp we have from the back side. To do that, we first examine which part of the wood block is nicer. This one is nicer because this one has some irregularities, so I will stamp on this part. To do that, I'll position my stamp onto my surface. I will just ink it up. I strongly recommend you to use some waterproof ink. I really like this Archival ink, but anything waterproof would work. Stays on would work as well. I just don't like it because it's a pain in the ass to clean after it. I don't like cleaning very much. I have it enough as it is. So you ink up your stamp and you just position your block onto it. Press down and don't move it for a while. If you're beginner to stamping, you always need to press down and don't move for longer than you might think. Give the ink some time to transfer to your stamp. And if you've been stamping for a while, you're like, why are you telling me this? We all know that. So, I didn't get a good impression, so I might try it again. If you didn't get a good impression, try to really position it where it was before. And if you mess up, you can still use the other side. And if you mess up really badly, you can sand off this part and start again. So don't fret about it too much. This is just a part of a normal wooden block, normal wooden plank that my alpha male cut a piece off and sanded the edges so that I don't get splinters in my head. You might want to press really firmly here. Now, it's not a perfect impression, but I will know what this is about. And if I wanted a clearer image, I could go over this with some waterproof pen or something like that. Now I need to clean this up. I like using toothbrush for this. To make sure you cleaned nicely, take your stamp and try to stamp it onto a piece of paper. And if there is no trace of ink, then it's okay. After this, we will glue this to the other part. And to do that, we need to determine to position this in the right direction. As you can see, this is the way that my stamp is oriented. So I want to orient it like that when I will be gluing it. To do that, I simply take my PVA glue and just spread it around. I do that with my finger, but you could also use a credit card or something like that. Old credit card, preferably, not a new one. Or some other tool if you don't want. I find that fingers are the best tool because you can feel what you're doing literally. And you can make sure that the application is pretty consistent, which is another benefit, especially when working with glue. Now there's a good idea whenever you're gluing something that you really want to glue very well, to put the glue onto both pieces of material that you're gluing together. That goes for more or less anything that you want to glue. That's always a good idea. So just spread the glue around. And now position this the same way that it was. Take care of the direction of the design and orientation of the design. Now this block is not much bigger than the stamp, but if it was much bigger, take care that you position it in the center, because it will be easier to stamp evenly. However, I recommend that your block is not much larger in size than your stamp. Now all we need to do is put something heavy onto it while it's drying. For me, these are always books, because I got many. So here are 3 heavy cookbooks. Just put them on and leave it like this. And that's it.